Friends, Romans, countrymen, I hope I'm in the frame. Guess what? Gravity Falls is back in the public conscience thanks to this book right here, The Book of Bill. It was released a couple months ago, and it's a really good book for Gravity Falls fans, so I highly recommend it. But everyone's been obsessed with one thing in particular, including myself. Hold, please. Everyone's been obsessed with this little freak right here, Baby Bill. So I am going to make a Baby Bill plush. I ran to Miss Joanne and I got a truly bonkers amount of fabric. I got 1.5 yards of this yellow fabric. What am I supposed to do with 1.5 yards of this yellow fabric? I'll tell you. So we've got 3 options. We can make a normal sized Baby Bill and we can save the rest of the fabric for later, but probably never use it again. Option number 2, we make a giant Baby Bill, which is my preferred option, but I know I would have to go buy more stuffing. And we are limited by the size of this felt because I want the eye to take up most of the body, but the felt is only so big. Option number 3, we make like 3 or 4 small Baby Bills. I don't like this option, don't know why I presented it. I don't even know why I'm telling you all of the options because I've already decided. It's option 2. I love giant stuffed animals. I actually definitely have enough of the real fabric to do a mock-up with the real fabric, but that makes me nervous, so I'm just gonna use this fabric instead. Also, I'm sure there's plenty of triangle plush patterns out there or something akin to it. I'm sure there's Baby Bill tutorials out there. Am I going to use any of these resources? No. I'm going to draw it on the fabric myself and hope for the best. I think I say I'm gonna hope for the best in literally every single video, but it has not failed me yet. What could go wrong? Let's get started. The materials I'm using include a ton of yellow fleece, white and black felt for the eye, thread of course, and some decade-old blush from Walgreens for his cheeks. I set up everything, then fully forgot to hit record when I cut out the eye, so here's me pretending to do it. Wow, look at my scissors. I then used this handy dandy triangle calculator on calculator.net. I am not sponsored by them, but hey, calculator.net, call me. But yeah, it was a ton of math and measuring in straight lines. I haven't used a protractor in a really long time, and I also made some adjustments to the measurements. I'll put the final numbers on the screen. This is me making the sides of the triangle, which I know Bill is 2D, but unfortunately that is not possible to replicate in our 3D world, and also it wouldn't make for a very good plush. So you're going to want 2 triangles for his front and back, and 3 rectangles for the sides. It should be something like this. Okay, so we are done with the mock-up. He looks a little more pointy than I would have liked, but I don't know how to make him less pointy. I'm really glad I made a mock-up though. I really despise making 2 of the same thing and one isn't that good. But I got a couple of the measurements wrong because I was just rushing and not paying attention. So I'm glad we did what we did. And now it's time to move on to the real thing. Look at my dying washable marker. I don't think you can see how truly messed up it is from the video. I'll probably insert a picture, but it's been like this for way too long. I always like to pin my fabric while I'm cutting it. I feel like it's more reliable than weights, but what do I know? This is what the pieces should generally look like when you're done. Give it up for day 2. So as you can see, I've got each individual piece of the guy cut out. What I think I'm going to do is attach all of the pieces as much as I can without completely closing it off. That way it still lays flat enough for me to attach the eyeball, but when I sew the pattern that's on his body, like at the bottom, it'll all for sure be in a straight line, if that makes sense. We sewed it all up. We spent a long, unreasonable time aligning the eyeball that ended up not center anyway, and then we used a zigzag stitch at maximum width with the length of probably 0.5 to outline the eyeball. It was honestly kind of fun and easy, but it did use an unbelievable amount of thread. Obviously. I feel like I'm gonna run out of thread. Maybe, in my bobbin at least. And now he's starting to look like an almost finished guy. From there, I drew on the brick pattern, and the only reason I attached the bottom rectangle first was so I could use a ruler to get straight lines for the brick pattern, but if I were to do it again, I'd save the bottom rectangle for last and just trust myself to draw straight lines without it, because it made closing it off harder for some reason, even though it shouldn't, because it's a triangle. Okay, I've reached a good stopping point for today. I got a lot done. I did his eyeball, I did the patterning on his body. I still have to finish it up on the back, but that's pretty much it. And then I have to sew him shut, stuff him, and bada bing, bada boom, we've got baby Bill. I took a break and his deflated skin sat on my chair for a couple days, which I found so funny, so I'm going to make you look at him too. So I have been working for hours trying to fix these stupid corners. I'm never sewing a triangle ever again, make that known. But I finally decided to call it and stuff him, and oh my god. I wasn't gonna film today. I put on a shirt just so I could film, so I could show you how bad he is. So obviously he's not completely finished. I still have to stuff this corner, but this is perhaps the worst thing I have ever made, and I love him so much. Anyway, I finished stuffing him and closed off the corner with hand stitching. I love the Henson stitch. I use it even when I shouldn't. It's named for Jim Henson because it was used on the Muppets, I think. It's almost like a ladder stitch, but it hides seams very well, especially if you're good at it, which I'm not the best, but it works particularly well with fabric like this because you can run your needle back and forth over the seam to kind of pull up the fuzz and hide it. Here's me with Bill. Here's Bill after I put blush on him. I neglected to mention that I would put arms or shoes on him. I definitely didn't want shoes because he's perfect hugging shape for like when I'm watching TV, and I don't want to hug something with hard plastic shoes. But that's okay because I also made this. I just had so much fabric, so why not? Also, the shoes are from American Girl. They are Courtney's 80s shoes. And shout out to the nice ladies who helped me at the American Girl store when they recognized what I was doing. And I painted them with regular old acrylic. The legs are just tubes hand sewed onto the body, and then they're stuffed really well, so the shoes just kind of hold on. I didn't need to like glue them or sew them or anything. So obviously not my best work. He's very lopsided for unknown reasons. Putting the corners together was really, really hard, and I know that's part of the reason, but I also don't know what I would have done to fix it. Like, I feel like my measurements in cutting and sewing were all really precise, so I don't know. If I were to do it again on this scale, I would make him a lot wider. I think that would be the biggest, bestest fix. Cause look at this little freak. Wide. Good. Regardless of how he turned out, I love him so much. I love that he's crooked and stuffed weird and generally bootleg looking. And above all else, the real Bill would hate it. And that's all that matters. And one last thing. The one thing I've wanted to do since I saw this picture for the first time. Let's drop kick him.